You go figure. It was just not even a couple days ago that they rolled out some big changes on the Kindle Direct Publishing platform. And you'd think that would be enough, but no, Amazon KDP said, you know what? Hold our beer. And they went ahead and they rolled out another huge change. Now, this isn't just regarding fiction and nonfiction books. And this isn't just regarding low content books. This is regarding all KDP account holders. Now, if you have not been staying tuned to your email inbox, chances are very likely you probably missed out on the big major news. If you know about it already, say so inside the comments. Tell me you already knew it. If you didn't know it, let me know. Say, hey, this is new to me. You can also put hashtag new if you want. But at any rate, this is the email. Let's go ahead and dive right into it because this is what you guys came for, right? New features and changes in the KDP reports. We're excited to announce improvements to the KDP reports beta. The orders report now includes historical data, and the royalties estimator tool now offers downloadable reports. With these new features, the KDP reports beta has the same features as the old KDP reports. As a result, as of May 24th, 2022, the KDP reports beta will become the main reporting experience. Now, as I'm reporting this here to you, it is right now May the 19th. So that means we got about 5 more days where we default to the old school dashboard, the one that we've known for years now, the same one I've seen since, 2015 when it had rolled out the new KNPC page flip, chart there. But in the background, they had this KDP report in beta, and you go in there and it's just got so many beautiful graphs. It breaks everything down, but the problem was it was very glitchy and there was a lot of bugs in it. So let's go in and talk about that beta experience that we're going to be migrating over to here on the 24th. Benefits with the new KDP reporting experience includes a mobile-friendly view. See KDP reports on your phone. Royalties estimator. Estimate your upcoming Kindle Unlimited earnings before the fund is released and approximate your total earnings in a single currency. There's a new dashboard. Check today's top earning books, estimated royalties, orders, and KNP reads, plus your top formats and marketplaces for the month. And improved reporting experience. Enjoy the same functionality with an improved user experience and look compared to old reports. The old KDP reports will continue to be available for now and we'll let you know before they're removed soon. If you haven't used the new KDP reports, we encourage you to try them and provide feedback by clicking the Take a Survey link. Now, if you just click on the link, it's going to dump you back over into KDP's FAQ page, their help page, if you will. And it actually has a full thing about KDP reports. Honestly, all you got to do is just go to KDP's help page and just type up reports beta, and it's going to tell you. And essentially, I think that nothing has changed on here. I could be wrong. Maybe they've tweaked a few things, but the last time I read this, it was the same information. So this is really, really great news that they are stepping out of beta, but there is possibly some bad news. All right, if you haven't been familiar with the beta reporting tool just yet, obviously moving over to that, it's something new. There's going to be some friction. You're going to have some issues trying to track things down that you're so normally used to doing through the reports feature. And now you got to do it through there. So there's going to be issues. Now, before you go and you start dropping hateful comments to me, I don't own KDP, all right? I wish I did, but I don't. So please don't yell at me if the beta reports feature is not working, all right? Well, now it's not going to be beta here in about another 5 days. Got to report it to them. And the best way to do that is through the Contact Us feature inside the KDP dashboard. If it is breaking down or if it's not accurate or if there's something missing and you don't understand it, reach out to support. They're the ones that are going to be able to help you out. And the only way for this reports feature to get better is to actively provide feedback. Tell them how they're doing. They can't be mind readers, and Lord knows they can't watch the 50,000 YouTube channels that talk about them and figure out, oh, well, this audience says it this. No, they don't. They just honestly don't. So you have to provide direct feedback. The biggest issue I really had before, again, was the glitchiness, and some of the reports just were really wonky. And now it's just so much better. At any rate, this was just a very brief pop on here for this live I'm going to cover any kind of questions, concerns, comments. The very first thing I'm going to ask of you before we jump into things and we talk a little bit more about some theories and speculations and maybe even rehash a little bit of what we were talking about with the low content books. I just want you to do me a favor. Let me know where you're watching from. I am multi-streaming via Restream. Fantastic service, by the way. We are going out to Facebook, the business page, the Facebook group of DIY publishing. We're over on the Facebook group for the self-publishing books. We're over on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube, and we're on the podcast YouTube channel. Let me know where you're watching from and the city in which you're watching in. I'm very curious. I always love hearing from each and every single one of you. What do you think about this news? Do you think it's pretty big? Is it a step in the right direction? Is it meh? Who cares? Let me know. I always like seeing some changes publicly being shared through KDP because they do have a history of changing the rules without anybody knowing, and then someone goes and violates a given rule they didn't even know was there, and then they get their account terminated, or they get suspended, or they get reprimanded in some capacity. I like this. This is the Amazon KDP I've grown to love and respect, because when they can be forward with us, when they can be transparent, when they can notify all account holders about changes that are rolling out, that's huge. I think a lot of people sometimes think that Amazon KDP is just some giant robot. There are human beings on the other side of things that runs the Amazon KDP team, and they want to see you successful as much as you want to be successful, if not more, because obviously they wouldn't have a job if authors weren't successful on the platform. So, all right, I'm going to go over here to the comments. I see that Temecula, California, R.A. Morley over on Twitch. Let's see here. Miss Priyanka, she's watching on YouTube in Los Angeles. What's going on? Beautiful LA. M. Siofki is in Central Texas, USA. Hey, M, I'm going to be heading out towards your direction week after next. June 3rd to the 5th, I'll be at Inkers Con and actually going to be having a talk about keywords. Don't miss out on it. It's not going to be a talk I'm doing anywhere else. It's probably going to be my best stuff yet. But you're in Texas, come on over. We're in Dallas, Texas, inkerscon.com, folks. Let's see here. Norwich, England, and YouTube. Mike Hurd, great to see you, buddy. Kathy Mankin watching from Fort Smith, Arkansas. Personally, I hate change, but it's part of life. Yeah, you know it. G Light from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Beautiful Edmonton. I just tuned in, so I have to watch this later. Nice. Watching from YouTube. Hi, I'm in Wilcox, Arizona. I'm a Facebook watch. I have been using the new reports for a long time now. Nice, nice. So there's not going to be much issue for you, not much friction. So that's good. You've already gotten used to it. S-Rose says, I got the notification for this account and not the podcast one, so I'm watching this one since what I saw first. Okay, cool. A Facebook user says, I did not get an email, just went back to look it up and there was nothing. Yeah, I didn't get one in my email inbox, but my wife did, and she sent that over to me, and I just nerded out, and I'm like, I got to go live. Oh my gosh, Kelly, guess how many people are watching right now? Guess how many people are watching? She doesn't know. We've got over 80 different people here right now from various avenues. Thank you so much. Sharing is caring, folks. Tag me on social media if you do share this. That would be so great of you. Facebook user says, hey, what's going on? The Home Boss watching from London, YouTube. What's going on, Nuria? Always a pleasure hearing from you folks. Go check out the Home Boss here on YouTube. She does fantastic content. Facebook user says, watching via Facebook in far north Queensland, Australia. I'd love to go over visit you one of these days. Lawrence Ray said, just switch to the new layout and it makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it's really nice. The old way feels, I don't know, 90s-esque / early 2000s. This new version feels a lot more modern, and also it really helps out to visually see some of these things in play, because originally it was just like you just see some bars. If you wanted to figure out what was moving those bars, you had to kind of, click down and narrow it down to each one of those things or go into your individual reports. Now you can visually see that. So congrats, Lawrence. I'm really glad to see that you enjoy that. YouTube, Manchester, England, morganschooloфenglish.com. Great to see you join us here. Gene Allred from South Carolina, beautiful South Carolina. My brother, actually, who just happens to be tuning in, he was born in Beaufort, South Carolina. So, but live streaming tech hanging out. Say, hey, sup, gang. North Texas represent. Hope y'all are doing well and hope you're doing well. Dale, Caleb, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the news. Ooh, Kingston, Jamaica. Jennifer Graham, thank you so much for tuning in. Manitoba, Canada. If you guys have questions, concerns, comments, load them up with me now. I'm just buying some time. That way I can get you guys to, answer any kind of questions that you might have. Calling in from the moon. I hope the connection gets better. It's a bit patchy. Okay. Someone said, hi, Kelly. Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, Nasty Natty in the house. All right, that's what I'm talking about, just south of me. It's the sister city of Columbus and Cleveland. Cincinnati's awesome. I've been expecting it. I've been using it already. I didn't get anything in the email earlier. Yeah, I wonder if they're just split testing this out to everybody. Who knows? Shout out to Kelly for informational videos. You got it, S. Rose. I just shouted at her. I think she can hear me. Yes, we are all individuals. You got it. Good evening, Dorset, United Kingdom. Nice. Live streaming Texas in the swamps. Hello, Dale. Thank you for your efforts. This is Sanri Das from Kolkata, India. So Kolkata, nice. Kolkata's in the house. India's in the house. So always great to hear from you guys and gals. So I blasted through some of these things. You got questions, load them up for me by all means. As a really quick review for anybody who just happened to just pop in here, the big news that rolled out after we got the big news on May the 17th, here on May the 19th, we come to find out they are removing the current KDP dashboard. Now, we don't know when that date will be, but we are going to be forcibly transitioned in about 5 more days on May 24th to the new KDP reports. And you can still access the old ones. All right. And they're allowing you to do that. Obviously, they know that they're going to probably have some issues and some things are going to break and there's going to be some glitches. But as it starts to roll out to all the accounts, I'm sure things are going to get ironed out. And as soon as I know when they're going to remove the old reports feature, what I would recommend is you follow me over on my other YouTube channel. And if you're watching this from the other YouTube channel, this makes sense, is the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. Every Wednesday, I have a news segment and I share things like this. You don't want to miss out on that. I also shoot that on Mondays. So you can either A, subscribe over at dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast, or B, just go over to that link and join me every Monday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime. Got a 5 spot there from Ellen G. Thank you so much, Ellen. Hippo character runs at high speed, his legs forming a ball-like blur. Okay, I'm thinking it must be a super sticker. Thank you so much. What upgrades and improvements should the next dashboard need to make sense? Right now, it seems like they have everything covered pretty well. It's just, what's the stability? That's the big question mark, because it wasn't as stable back, I would say, a year or two ago when I was playing around with it. But based on a couple of viewers' comments in this particular live video right now, they're already using the beta reports. So it must be working. It must be doing better. So this is fantastic news. Also, if you are currently using Amazon Author Central over at author.amazon.com, if you get yourself set up there, you will see a very similar feel and layout as what it does for the KDP reports that's going to be rolling out in 5 more days. Scully's House of Thrillers, good to see you, buddy. Glad to catch up with you today. I'm glad to see you today. I prefer the beta. I've set it on my home screen. Almost feels like an app. There we go. Yeah, we're pretty much being forcibly removed. I mean, there's no delicate way of putting it. They're like, well, we're not forcibly removing you. We're just asking that you go over there with the intentions that you should definitely move over there. Could it not touch all KDP accounts like, say, Canada KDP? It's going to be on every KDP account. Yeah, I wouldn't think it would just be region specific, because otherwise I imagine there probably would have said, it's just going to be for the US, it will be for the UK or something like that. So it's going to roll out into all accounts regardless of your region. Claire Clark, great to see you, Claire. How you doing? Great to see you. Beta is so much easier to understand, more user-friendly. Syndratic says, Dale, what are big book review websites? Ooh, that's a really good one. There's a number of great review websites. What I would say is, okay, you're going to have to write this one down. You may have to go back and do this all together. There's 4 different sites when it comes to doing free book promotions and paid book promotions. If you can find those ones, it will help you kind of find additional services, because some of those book promotion sites do have review services available to them. But go over to Reedsy first. That's REEDSY. Reedsy.com has a great resource for free book promotion sites. Go to thekindlepreneur.com. They also have another one for free book promotion sites. David Gaughran also has one that's spelled Gaughran. DavidGaughran.com. Go over there. He also has his list of vetted sites. And then last but not least, TCK Publishing. That's the initials of TCK, Tom Corson Knowles Publishing. TCKpublishing.com has another list. Just go through that list right there, and chances are very likely quite a few of the sites don't just do book promotion, they will do book reviews. Here's a little bit of a quick hack here for you. If you want to get a free review, it won't appear on Amazon. It's more of an editorial review. Go to readersfavorite.com. Readersfavorite.com actually provides one free review. I've never paid for an upsell. I don't recommend doing it. But either way, it gets you a nice editorial review. Always submit it there. They're a pretty trustworthy source. They're just going to sell you on a lot of things. Just as a forewarning, you can always just unsubscribe from their emails. It's what I did. My wife says, hi all, I was studying Photoshop, so I wasn't paying attention. Hope everyone is doing well. They are indeed. Man, there's 87 of y'all hanging out here. Is it only English? Is it only English as in the beta reports? I don't know. See, I've never seen any of the KDP accounts in a different language, but I imagine it's going to probably be available for any language. So thanks for the updates again. You got it, Travel Discovery. I appreciate you popping on in here. Paper review. I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks for the great information. I'll check out the links. Thank you so much, Syndratic. I would say there's also some other sites. I've covered this on my main channel. Getbooksreviewed.com is one. Puppy.co is another one. These ones are more on like a reader author type thing. So it's like a legal way of doing review swaps without the bias put in there, because they pretty much separate authors from other authors who are reviewing books and such. So if I review, let's say, Kelly's book, Kelly couldn't go back and review mine because I pretty much already, called dibs on that. This way it keeps it safe. The other author's not paying for anything. The only thing the authors are paying for is the actual service on the site, not for the reviews. So it's 100% above board, legit. It's good. And actually, Puppy.co was founded by one of the workers from CreateSpace, which was formerly the KDP Print. Like right now, what we have for KDP Print was CreateSpace, and that went away in December of 2018. Hassan Al-Masayed says, can I change the book title after published without changing book cover? Because the book title and cover. Can you change the title but keep the book cover the same? Probably not. No. You might be able to get away with it. Some reps are a little lazy and they don't pay attention to that, but you typically have to have your title matching your cover. I'd say probably the only exception would be the subtitle. If the subtitle doesn't appear on there, that's okay. But if your title, let's say, for instance, is War and Peace, you have it on your book cover, but you can't go back through and put battles and in good times, because it just doesn't match that cover. So just a heads up. Susan Montgomery. Well, how's it going, Susan? How are you? Dale, thanks for your recent email on creating video content as an author. I have a lot of ideas I'm working on and hope to roll out some soon. Yes, folks, if you want to join the email newsletter, go over to dalelinks.com/sign up, and you actually get some great emails sent to your inbox, typically 1 to no more than 3 times per week. Honestly, I'm not trying to badger you guys. You guys get enough content from me as it is. Hello, exploring your channel. Glad I'm just now catching this live. Paget, it just turns out I was not planning this. I literally was just like, as soon as I found out this information, I started putting things together and got myself here on this live. Glad to see there's 80 of you across the numerous platforms watching. Again, let me know where you are watching from, be it YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, any of those avenues. And what city are you watching from? I'm always curious. I love to see the diversity that comes to this broadcast here. But fingers crossed, I'm coming to Inkers Con. Paget, I can't wait to be able to meet you in person. Please come over, say hi to me. I'm a handshaker and a hugger. It's okay. I've been fully vaccinated, so you should hopefully be okay. But either way, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Inkers Con. Anybody else going to Inkers Con in a couple of weeks? That's on June 3rd to the 5th. I will be speaking there. If you want more information about that, go over to inkerscon.com. Get your tickets today. I'm not being financially compensated for it. Sure, I'm getting taken care of for the actual talk, but beyond that, you guys go buy that. It's not an affiliate link. Wouldn't it be great if KDP gave free ads to the authors who enroll in the exclusive option? Ooh, man, I like what you're saying. Seems only fair seeing how we're agreeing to only sell through KDP. One could wish. One could wish, yeah. I love that theory, the conservative trucker. Dude, you get a banana sticker for the day. It's a virtual one. Unfortunately, I'm all out of my banana stickers. People don't like it if something they bought changes. Yeah, it's true. Claire Clark says, do you think we still be able to get Amazon bestseller ranks with low content? Now we have to tick a separate box. Claire, for right now, and actually I'm producing a video at this moment, kind of going through all of the information, sifting some of the information that we got directly from Amazon. And I'm also going to be sifting through some of the information that I'm getting from the community, like you folks out here. If there's anything that you can share with me and your experience with low content books, make sure that you comment on a video or drop me an email at dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com. Super eager to hear about that, but I should be shooting a video tonight about low content books, the recent changes and such like that. I think for right now, they're just going to keep it as is. Checking off low content just gets it to where it disqualifies you for expanded distribution. That's really all it does right now. And it also locks out your BISAC category. Still select your BISAC, all right? Go in and get those two different categories that closely resembles it, and then check the low content box. My theory is going to be that eventually what's going to happen, they're going to do the same thing to do for the regular books, is they're going to look at the BISAC category selection, they're going to look at the keywords, and they're going to figure out where this product belongs and what categories it belongs to. And I anticipate, and it's my hope, that they eventually get some categories specific to low content books. That way they have their own space and everybody can be happy. They're, instead of seeing low content books put on fiction and nonfiction categories, it would actually get its own pedestal, somewhere that it can be held high. And that means that there's going to be a lot less competition, because as we move over to these new categories, this means that for fiction and nonfiction authors, things have opened up again. And this means for low content books, if we go over to these new categories, that means that we're no longer, as low content book publishers, beholden to these specific categories that don't serve us any good. We're competing against nonfiction and fiction books as low content book publishers, and it becomes a mess. And the customers are confused as heck. There's been a number of people out there who've bought a low content book thinking it was a full content book. Yeah. And it wasn't. And of course they get mad, they get a return, and they give a bad review, that type of thing. It gets a little bit ugly, but I'm really excited about that. Monterey, California, Jana De Silva, glad to see you join us here. Street Gets Vibe says, hi, is there a minimum number of books to be published before you get your royalties? I'm watching from Nigeria. I believe since you, in your region there of Nigeria, you're probably going to have to wait for the $100 threshold to request a payout. Or I don't think you have to request it necessarily. It just needs to hit $100 as a minimum threshold. Go to their help page, which, you know, just go to your Amazon dashboard, hit the help in the top right-hand corner of your dashboard. And it's pretty intuitive. You'll be able to get a solid answer. But off the top of my head, I think it's a $100 minimum. Unless you use Payoneer. So if you get a paper check, I think it's $100. Payoneer might be like a $10 minimum. Not 100% sure. I'm sorry. Sometimes everybody thinks I remember all this stuff all the time, but you're watching pre-recorded videos where I've kind of had everything outlined and scripted for me. So you caught me here. You caught me. All right. Claire's over there in the UK as well. Sunny Winters says, I'm watching from a crater 62b on Earth's moon Luna. Great to hear that, Sunny. YouTube, Vacayville in California. California is just representing today. Actualized Academy said, watching from YouTube in Calgary. Yes, one of my favorite cities in the world. Love me some Calgary. Give yourself a hug. Honestly, you should be awesome like everybody else, I'm sure, in Calgary. So you deserve a hug and pat yourself on the back. Love me some Calgary. I'm not even being joking. Love Calgary. Facebook user says, hello, Facebook user. How are you? Excited for the low content book video. Nice. I am looking forward to presenting it. It's going to be a lot more buttoned down than a 1 hour long live broadcast. So that way you guys can get your information and be done with it. And also there's some additional information and some thoughts that I had that I'll be able to kind of share. I anticipate that on the main YouTube channel at dalelinks.com/YouTube, if you're subscribed, you're going to probably only be seeing one video per week, maybe 2 moving forward. We realized, the team here realized that we are just inundating you guys with video after video after video and you're running behind on things. And to me, we don't want you to be overwhelmed with all this information and start to really resent or be like, oh, Dale's got another video up. I got to go watch that one. I got 10 other videos to do. So we've pumped the brakes a little bit more, but I will tell you, we're going to be talking a lot more about low content books. We're going to be talking more about Kindle Vella. That's right. I'll be giving you an update on my Kindle Vella journey. We're going to be talking more about, let's see here. There's a number of things. It's been exciting. I spent a good deal of time with my video editor over the past week developing a launch strategy that's going to span over the next 3 to 4 months on the main channel. So thank you so much if you are subscribed and if you're a channel member, I do appreciate it. Leo's Art had said, had to switch to YouTube because on Facebook it's lagging. Yeah, that's Facebook's MO. I'm sorry. My question is, paper review, is it only for English or do they French review for Amazon? Leo's, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not following you, man. I don't understand my question. Paper review, is it only for English or do they do French review for Amazon? Yeah, I don't know what you're saying, man. I apologize. My experience with low content books, a game guide. I see why it was cheap. 10 pages later, nothing. Oh. If it was a game guide, it wasn't a low content book. That was just a short book. What is low content? Jay's philosophy. I'm so glad that you asked. It essentially is, here's an example. Diaries, journals, planners, notebooks, things like that. And also low content books can include things like activity books, coloring books, puzzle books, things like that. Now, keep in mind that those last 3 ones that I just gave to you were ones that KDP deems not low content. They're like, no, that's regular. That's regular stuff. So, but I'll share that inside that video. But that is low content book publishing. It's 100% legit. There is a buying audience that really actually loves it. In fact, this particular book is one of the ones that I have of the probably dozen that are in my household, because I'm always jotting notes down because I think of something during an interview or I'm working on something. I just got to write really fast. Makes sense. Split stationery, low content style books and fiction and nonfiction, like it would be a real book in a shop for real. Yeah. Thomas N says, I have a children's picture book out called Lena Explores. What are good ways to promote that don't cost anything or much? Thanks. Thomas, get yourself interviewed. That's it. That is free to do. And someone is promoting you and your brand. You don't have to do any of the work. So get yourself a good interview. Great places to land interviews. Podcastguests.com. Podcastguests.com sends out a twice per week email newsletter where they're showing guests are looking for podcasts and podcasts are looking for guests. You typically need to scroll down to the bottom. They'll show you 10 different podcasts that are looking for guests. Now, you're going to be doing a lot of sifting. You're going to probably sift through maybe a few weeks before you finally find something that's good. But the nice thing is you just go ahead and apply for it. I'd recommend that as soon as you get that email in your inbox, if you want to land that interview, Be on top of it. You need to be the first to strike. Because a lot of these podcasts, I spoke to a few of them, like we're getting hundreds. Because the last I heard, podcastguests.com, their email newsletter was 30,000 subscribers. 30,000. That was last year. So I imagine it's grown ever since. But podcastguests.com, podmatch.com is another one I've played around with. Got a couple of different interviews. Those are 100% free. You can do the upgraded option, but I never did. And I've landed dozens of interviews between the two. Other ways to do it, just go to a YouTube channel and, say, hey, do you do interviews? If they do interviews, great. Then you can just ask them and see. But it's all in the approach, how you do it. There you go. But there's numerous ways you can market without having to spend money. And I would recommend, if you don't have the money, don't ever feel like you can't do this. You can do it just as well. You just need to be a lot more resourceful, and you're just going to have to be scrappy. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is figuring out, okay, how can I be more visible? That's the name of the game when it comes to marketing. How can I be more visible? How can I make this book more visible? Because that's the name of the game. How do you become more visible? Do we go on a street corner, draw some local media and be crazy? Or do we book an interview over on a large podcast? There's so many ways you can make it, shake it, or bake it. Conservative Trucker says, found your channel a month or 3 ago. Really helped me with understanding KDP for releasing my first book. Well, really, it's a novella. By the way, I'm watching from Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. Nice. Going to be heading towards Missouri sometime in the next week or two. Ava says, got the email, haven't read it yet. No clue what's going on. Haha. Yes, my assistant, I'm sorry, Ava. My assistant didn't even know I was going live. This was last minute that I popped into here. But welcome, Ava. Surprise. Just as a recap, KDP is taking the reports beta and they are pushing it out and forcibly moving. I have to say that because someone else laughed about it. They're forcibly moving everybody over to the new reports dashboard, and that's in 5 days on May the 24th. They are not getting rid of the old reports dashboard, nor do they have a set date in which they will, sunset that. So Thomas M. from Salt Lake City, Utah. Nice. Question time. I write 100-word stories, 1 story to a page, an approximate 100 stories. Would this be considered low content? No, not at all. Not at all. That's I'm assuming you use fiction. You're just fiction work. Some of the folks in the low content book publishing space like to call it high content. I think that's stupid. All right. But I have a feeling this is one of those things that, like anything else, the more I fight it, the more I look like just a grumpy old codger. So that's a high content book. Low content books are typically something that requires the customer to fill in or requires them to work and not just read and consume. If yours was a workbook, I would say yeah. But other than that, though, M, you're pretty much set, man. That's regular stuff. In fact, what we would call that, if you were to publish it on Amazon, it's called a short read. I've done numerous videos about short reads in the past, and they can be quite lucrative, to be honest with you. Nantucket. Great to see someone from Nantucket. Hey, Dale, you're always so helpful. You are so nice. I appreciate it. Leo's Art says, you lose a banana sticker for not knowing all by heart. LOL, joke. I'm sorry, Leo's. Please give me back my banana sticker. I gave you breaking news today. Sean Russell says, UK says hello. Man, UK is in the house, man. Loving me some United Kingdom. Can I come over and visit you guys? I'm just going to ask you, Sean. You're the first one I see here. I know there was a couple other. I think Claire was over in UK as well. Can I just come over and hang out? Just, you got a spare bedroom. Maybe my wife and we can just crash there and such. Of course, I'm kidding. That'd just be weird. But we do want to make it out to the UK eventually. Yes, more Kindle Vella information. Yes, we are going to be rolling out more. My apologies. A lot of my personal health issues have really kind of held me back for the last month and a half. I'm starting to feel like we're coming back around the bend, but just so you know, we are purposefully slowing down the video content publishing on the main channel of Self-Publishing with Dale on YouTube. The reason is you guys are responding to it better. This week's probably an exception. I did not expect to have 2 big pieces of news to roll out, and I didn't want to miss out on this. Hi, is calendar planners online subscriber? I'm not sure what you're asking. Do you mean like, are calendars considered planners? I mean, I guess you could be considered that. I mean, because I used to have a planner and had a calendar inside it. So I think that's what you're going for. Jay's philosophy. I like Kindle, but it's hard to make money nowadays as an author. Yes, Jay, I will be rolling out next week. It should be out on Tuesday if everything works out really well, because I'm going to shoot have a video shoot right after I'm done here with this live. Next week, I'm actually going to be talking about the 10 best ways to make money as an author. That's beyond just your books. All right. This is going to be the one that you're going to want to make sure you tune into, Jay. There's no reason that you should wait for the gravy train to come in for your books. You're going to have to, again, something I've mentioned before is you got to be resourceful. You got to be resilient. You can't let up, and you're going to have to look at other alternatives that's going to put food on your table. I was in that position back in about 2014 to 2016. It sucked. It sucked a lot. It sucked knowing like, hey, I might have to go back to my day job. It sucked knowing like I could possibly lose my house any time now because I'm barely making ends meet. So yeah, stay tuned next week. It's going to be a great one. I can't wait to share it with you. Gene Allred said, sad, I have an hour commute and you are one of the preferred streams to listen to. Oh, nice. Is a calendar planner low content book? Yes. Yes. A planner is considered a low content book, online subscriber. Yeah. The only thing that Amazon deemed not low content was the activity books, the puzzle books, and the coloring books. They consider those three are not no content. So if you're publishing those three type of books, do not select low content. Things like the calendar or planner, I would assume you're going to have to check that because, again, it's primarily being filled in by a customer. If you need clarification, folks, I don't always have all the answers. I can only speculate. So in instances like that, reach out to KDP Support and ask them. They may be able to give you a straightforward answer. If you find something out that is different from what I just said, please let me know. By all means, I am not the be-all, end-all of all information here. I had a conversation with Nielsen, the UK ISBN provider, and I got some interesting information about ISBN and low content for the UK. I'll forward it to you, Dale. Thank you so much, Claire. I appreciate that. HFD Ministry said, would you suggest publishing on KDP without expanded distribution first and then publish on Ingram Spark with their expanded distribution? Ingram Spark doesn't have expanded distribution. It's just they just distribute. That's it. That's an all or nothing thing over on Ingram Spark. And that's been one of my biggest qualms. I'm right now actively speaking with the folks over at Ingram Spark. After the video I published about 2 weeks ago about some of the issues that I had with them, they were quick. They came over, they sat down, they talked with me. There is some stuff in the works. I can't say anything. I didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement. It was more of a NDA verbal agreement, if you will. So hang in there. Ingram Spark's going to have some more news. But what you're saying is if you've got a fiction or nonfiction book, should you just bypass expanded distribution on KDP and go Ingram Spark? Absolutely. Go for it. It's how I've done it. However, I want to let you know, Ingram Spark's really tightening down on things. And from what I have heard is if they see that book is already on Amazon, they're going to say that the ISBN's already taken and they can't publish it. So if you want to be able to get both of those to publish, do it simultaneously. We're talking get all the metadata laid up, and when it goes to the hitting the publish button, click. That way, it's done at the same exact time. I anticipate that that's going to probably close up relatively soon, or and my hope is that Ingram Spark will allow for deselecting some stuff. Guys, what's going on here? There's 99 of you guys here. What? Wow. If you're enjoying the information, you want to learn a little bit, I'm going to stay here and answer the questions as long as you guys have questions. If I see some of the numbers dipping down, then I'll probably deuce out. But either way, you got questions, load them up here, whether it's about the news today. And if somebody asks about what was the news today, you can go ahead, just give them a spoiler inside the chat. Tell them to go back and watch the replay if they wish. But either way, we're going to keep pushing forward here. Yes, planner is low content. Do you think Amazon KDP will ever have an email notification when we make sales, or will we always have to go to the dashboard to check sales numbers? Yeah, I imagine you're probably always just going to have to go to the dashboard. It would be such a pain in the butt, and it would also clog up the system. Not to mention if they're sending out, I mean, you got to think there's millions of account holders out there. Can you imagine the amount of emails they're already sending out of their system? Now, anytime you make a sale, they're sending it out. Now, you're probably going to go, but Dale, hang on. What if I got a daily or a weekly report or something like that? I totally get it. I would say that if it's a feature that you want to see, put a request in. even though I don't think it would be a good feature, doesn't mean that it's not to invalidate, how you feel. It might help you out much better. I just don't think I already get so much inside my email inbox, to be honest with you. I don't need another email. I would rather just go back in and just check weekly on my sales and such, which that's typically what I used to go daily and sometimes multiple times daily. And I stopped driving myself crazy. I just go in weekly when I am going in and fixing some of my Amazon ads. You were talking about getting a review for free from a website. That I will need to rewatch to look up on the net. I'm looking to get more reviews, but most are only English reviews for books. Yeah, sadly, Leos. Okay, so I'm glad that you clarified. I get my banana sticker back, by the way, now that I understand. Unfortunately, Leos, you're probably going to know better than what I would. I can't really track those type of services down. Typically, you see something like that. What I would say is, based on whatever the language is, search in that region specific area, .co.fr, or is it .fr? I'm not really sure. Either way, if it's like French, look on France domains and see what you can pull up. Or if it's a different language, obviously substitute for that. The Conservative Trucker says, how does a horror thriller author get an interview? Oh my gosh. Oh, there are tons of podcasts out there for horror and thriller authors. I'm always bugging my buddy, Thomas A. Bradley. He was the first book rescue guy that we had worked with. And I'm always bugging him. I'm like, dude, here's another podcast. You got to go to it. I cannot wait. I'm looking, and I'm going to give you guys some spoilers here. My Kindle Vella series is tentatively planned to launch on August the 1st this year. Once that does launch, or right about the time it launches, I'm going to see about trying to get myself booked on a number of podcasts and YouTube channels. But yeah, they're out there, man. It's just one simple Google search. All you got to do is just put horror book podcast, or horror podcast, or scary movie podcast, or scary movie YouTube channel, any number of those things, and just, you got to do a little bit of recon. But yeah, there are tons still looking for that conservative trucker. I'm glad you asked that. A lot of people just assume, and I don't want you to assume. There is something for everybody out there. I will assure you, in a world, and this is not me trying to shame anybody, I'm not trying to kink shame anybody. It is still weird though. Adult baby diaper lover romance. All right, ABDL is a real thing, and there are very devoted followers, and there's people devoted to talking about it. So you just got to track down whoever your niche is and find them, because if ABDL romance has its own niche and popular and very devoted following, or you're definitely going to find really easy. And by the way, I do realize it sounds like I'm saying prostitute and not horror. I'm just horrible at that word. It's easier than ever to write a book, but it's hard to break out. I wrote a science fiction novel years ago, and it's tough to make money. Hang in there, Jay. Hang in there. I want to write short ebooks that guide people into different subjects, kind of like a blog post, but in ebook form. Is it allowed to hyperlink a lot to different internet resources? Yes, so long as it's, see, I do it a lot. In a lot of my fitness books, I did that. In a lot of my self-publishing books as well. I do that a lot. Just remember, from a user standpoint, and as you build out your manuscript for your ebook and your print book, people aren't going to be able to click on a given link, obviously, in a print book. So either A, create some type of redirect, or B, be prepared for the fact that some people are not going to go through the measure of making this long, ugly URL and checking your resource and such. But I think it's smart to go ahead and do that. The main thing is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to paraphrase, and maybe I'm out of line on this one. KDP guidelines say outbound links are okay so long as it's within context of the book. So if it's a resource that you're citing, absolutely, you're going to be good. My aunt made a couple low content designer composition books. Nice patterns. Nice, ML Bull. Great to see ya. Greetings from Arizona. Good to see you, eCar ebooks. TikTok is great free marketing. Syndratic is right on the money on this one. TikTok, I'm telling you, it's really blown up really big. And Author Talk or Book Talk, you can go ahead and look those up, have a number of people just absolutely crushing it. crushing it. It's not just authors following authors. There are legitimately readers for some of these folks' channels and such. I believe the Kindlepreneur just put out an article about authors using TikTok. So TikTok for Authors, I think is what it's called. So just look up kindlepreneur.com. Come and visit anytime. You got it, Nuria. Actually, your house would probably be the first I come visit. It's late in the UK too, almost 10 p.m., right? Yeah. Greetings from Sweden. Great to see that. Morocco in the house. Glad to see you. Yes, Dale, come on over. Oh, wait, almost 11 p.m. Come visit. You got to bring Kelly. Oh, yeah. I don't travel without Kelly. Couch surfing in the UK. We'll give you a tour of London. That sounds like a winner. Life's more important than virtual. Yeah, keep healthy. I'm doing my best, buddy. Thomas M., will you interview me? Thanks for that info. Viewing from Salt Lake City, Utah. Actually, drop me a line. Dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com. We've got an application that we put people through. I would personally just rather just hand that out one person at a time. So if you can, just drop me an email, Dale@selfpublishingwithdale.com. If you want to be interviewed on the podcast, I am actually looking for guests. I just need to dig into the application list and load them up. Right now, we are booked out for the next 9 months. We have that much content coming out on the podcast. Like, I have a ton of really awesome guests, including, oh my gosh, just a blast of a conversation. I had my assistant, Ava Fails. We had an awesome conversation. She kills me though. She messed up at one point or another. She's like, hey, can you cut that out? I'm like, yeah, we'll cut it out. I'm so lazy when it comes to my podcasts. Honestly, I try not to do very much work when it comes to the editing. I'm sorry to say that, but sorry, that was an incomplete sentence. Ava helped me out though. Thanks. Okay. I'm getting excellent reviews from the few I sell and I make, but I'm still stuck at one book a month. Ooh. Publisher Rocket's pulling out the data from the book search section, not the general search section. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty awesome. I think that anything that Dave rolls out with that's pretty amazing. Mason Ledbetter said, would it be more beneficial to publish on KDP without using their expanded distribution first and then publish on Ingram Spark using their distribution? I think we already covered that. Mason, I'm sorry, we did cover that. So yeah, essentially you can do that. But again, I think they're going to tighten things up. Got to skip out of here. Thanks so much for tuning in, Kathy, and I really appreciate your support here as a channel member. Folks, you want to come to channel member, join me over on YouTube. You can see a join button right directly below that window there, and it'll give you all the information you need to know. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's on YouTube. It would be so greatly appreciated. You can go to dalelinks.com/YouTube or dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast. Any of the videos there, just click on them, and it will show you the channel memberships. I do appreciate it. Never expect it of you folks. When will the revamped course be out? Facebook user, I think you're probably talking about the DIY publishing course community. The new stuff is going to be rolling out not as a course. It actually will be a video on demand platform. You guys are going to continue to be able to utilize the content that I have over for the DIY publishing course community. And most likely I will be giving you guys some exclusive access to the new app that's going to be coming out. We're in a kind of a holding pattern because I'm waiting on a registration number that I have to use to get into the Apple App Store. As soon as I get that going, we're looking at launching. I'm hoping by June 1st, we should be able to have that out. I want to make sure that I have brand new content. You guys are going to see a lot more about what goes into my business and some of the things that have made me successful, not just in books, but I'm also going to show you affiliate marketing. I'm going to show you about brand deals and sponsorships, regardless of how many followers you have. You can have 0 and still be able to land a brand deal and sponsorship. I'm going to be talking about email marketing. Those things are going to start to roll out on what's now calling, I'm just going to go ahead and say it publicly now. It's going to actually be called the Self-Publishing Hub. And it's going to include everything I know. Eventually, I will be getting some guest speakers to come to the Self-Publishing Hub, but for right now, I'm just going to stabilize the program, try to get it out onto all the app platforms before I start to bring in additional partners and contributors. So, but that will be what we're going to be doing. It's called the Self-Publishing Hub. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. By the way, appreciate your channel, sir. It has helped me publish my first 3 books. Nice. Congrats, by the way. Becca Whipple said, I missed what the big thing is. Scroll down in the description, you'll see a very brief synopsis. Chris said, so Publisher Rocket's pulling out the data from the book search. I think it's repeating some of your comments here, folks. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the 10 spot. Paget Farmer, thank you so much. giving me that $10. Thank you. Do you think part of the ISBN removal is that it weren't to be a BSR for new uploads? No. No, ISBNs cost money, and I am sure that with these folks that are uploading hundreds, if not thousands, of no content books to the KDP dashboards, and they're not making money, you're looking at about, and maybe they've worked out a deal with Balker that they're able to get ISBNs in a large bulk, but to my knowledge, the general public, when they do buy, the cheapest that you can get for ISBN is $1.50. And that's if you buy 1,000, and that's about $1,500, obviously. I just think it was a cost-cutting measure. They were like, why are we wasting our ISBNs? It's not like they're taking these books anywhere else. They're just going to keep them right here on the platform. It's much like the Kindle ebooks. They're like, we don't need to have an ISBN. Let's just get rid of this. So I don't think it has anything to do with the Amazon bestseller rank. That's going to be a completely separate issue altogether. I think it's going to be a case of those categories, finding categories, reallocating all low content books to the appropriate categories. So that way we're not mixing up different types of content between fiction, nonfiction, and low content books. Is this even live? Chris, yes, it is. I'm sorry, man. I'm just way behind on the comments. There's almost 100 of you here right now across various platforms. I'm learning so much, I can't even take it all in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You give great comment. Okay, cool. Icar ebook says, hey, Dale Sensei, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. About a year and a half ago, I tried to submit a short read, and Amazon back then, they were not accepting submissions. Maybe I'm not the cool kid list. Any suggestions? Thanks. It's going to be a case of go back in, change your BISAC category, and change your keywords. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. Short reads, the whole categories for short reads are inaccessible. It's actually invite only. And when I say invite only, there's something that is in the background. When you go to publish your book, it looks at your BISAC category and it looks at your keywords and it looks at the link to your content and goes, oh, I think it goes here. And it'll drop it into that specific area. So it's going to take a lot of trial and error. Sometimes it's just going to be a case of having some pushback. Know how many pages your KEMPC is for that specific book, because you could probably be trying to ask for a short read category that is too many pages or too few pages for what you're trying to submit. So that might be why they're going, no, you can't go in there. It's invite only. They're looking at your book and they're going, that doesn't even fit there. So it's just a recommendation. I also have 3 stories on Kindle Vella, self-promotion if you don't mind. Hey, no problem. All right. I've had same issue, autocorrect changed Dale into Dave earlier. Yeah, a lot of people call me Dave, and I think it's probably just autocorrect. Just it does me dirty. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here, and my apologies if I didn't see your question. I'm going to try to back up. If I didn't answer your question yet, please post it again inside the chat, and I'll try to get to it. Sean Russell says, Dale, will you be doing the author help series again in the future? The previous episodes were amazing. Author help series. I don't know what you mean by the, do you mean the Amazon Author Central series? I've never done author help series. Oh my gosh. What's going on here? What are you guys doing? All right. You're just trying to throw me off my game here. Omana, big appreciation. Dropping that 20 spot. You and Kelly are wonderful. Your hard work has helped so many creators, and I'm thrilled to get back in the role with my publishing. Folks, Omana, is a fantastic artist. And this is one of those ones that if anybody ever asked me, is there any one video that I really wish more people got to see or watched, but didn't? It was the video collaboration I did with Omana. She is a fantastic artist, and she put a lot of work into it. We're talking like days of work into this. And the video launched and maybe had like a handful of views and such like that. But for whatever reason, it didn't resonate with them. So you ever get the opportunity, go back and watch that video. It's where we use the character generator for inspiration. And she did the art for that. It was pretty amazing. SD Houston, what's going on? I made mention of the reports beta having some fails in a video of mine. Yeah, I share the same with you. When you run a promotion through KU, it ends in a different time zones. So some sales are attributed to different days. Oh, did not know that. I publish scavenger hunts and books and doing a big reveal for my next book on scavenger hunt day next Tuesday, March 24th. I didn't even know it was going to be that. By the way, that's the day that they're going to be rolling out the new reports to everybody, forcibly moving them over there. And have a book launch team and any suggestions. I figured you would enjoy me. There is always a way to bring attention to your book. For your book launch, you're like 5 days away. It's too late for you to implement anything that I could be able to recommend. Build out your ARC team, build out hype, get an email newsletter, reach out to any free book promotion and pay book promotion websites, whatever you can be able to afford. If it's free book promotion sites, that's totally fine. And you're going to want to make sure that you don't do all of your promotions on one single day. All right. Maybe you got 5 days. So 5 days prior to 2 weeks after. Typically I say put promotions so that way it's stacked up for 2 weeks straight, launch, and then 2 weeks straight again. That's if you've had it on pre-order. If you don't have it on pre-order, totally fine. Just do 2 weeks after, possibly 4 weeks after in doing some of these. If you're going to do some of these promotions, I'd recommend you do a discounted deal or run a free book promotion if you're unique to KDP Select. If you're not using KDP Select, what I would say is publish wide, go into draft to digital. You're going to have it price match, right? So you're going to go down to $0 and draft to digital, go over to KDP, say, hey, look what they're doing over there. You better price match that, and they'll price match it, and then it'll go to free. Then you can reach out to all these free book promotion sites and say, hey, my book's available for free for the next 5 days, blah, blah, blah. Put them on one specific day of the week. I would recommend too, if you use this strategy, go back to it every 90 days. If you've got a perma-free book, every 90 days, you should be reaching out to these different book promotion websites. So that way you continue to have free traffic driven over to your title. It works for the most part. Some people are going to see great results. Other people are not going to see great results. I mentioned 4 sites earlier: Readsy, Kindlepreneur, TCK Publishing, and David Gaughran. They have good free book promotion websites. Go over and take a look at them. This was one of the assignments that I actually gave to Book Rescue Season 2 guest Sarah Walday. I had her go through, figure out all the stuff in there, what's going to work for her niche, what days does she have to submit them, and such. Newsletter swaps as well. All right. Bloviated long enough about that. Hopefully that helped you out. Yes, you can use unlimited pen names in your KDP account. I thought it was 5. I thought we were limited to 5. Like you get 3 initially, but you can ask for 2 additional ones. Maybe it's changed. I could be off my rocker here on this one. You can also use unlimited categories. Since you can only have one account, everything goes in there together. Oh my gosh, Sean Russell, thank you so much for the 10 spot. I really appreciate it. Book Rescue was amazing, Dale. Will you do this again in the future? Yes. Actually, I will be shooting season 2, episode 1. I should be doing that tomorrow, if not Saturday. The new season that's coming out is going to be completely different than the previous season. We figured out ways to kind of make our process more efficient because it was really tough over the past year trying to put together that season. What we want to do is get it to where there's one video firing off after the other, like 1 week separated apart. So that way you guys are getting the full story. The next story is going to be with Sarah Walday. Sarah is, I can't say enough great things about her. She is just fantastic. And I promise you that for whatever that you might have loved Robert, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to feel the same way about Sarah because she just has a beautiful story. She's just a magnificent human being who deserves all the success in the world. And I want to let you know, the season's going to knock your socks off. This is one of those instances of those best case scenarios. And yeah, stay tuned because she's had some massive results so far. 7, Ann says. Okay, 7. I believed it was linked with Fiverr. Yes, Sean. Yes, Book Rescue is linked with it. They actually paid for the next season. I will be going to negotiate with them as soon as we're done with the next 6 episodes. That's when my Fiverr contract is up. And I will approach them about season 3. I've got a big, wild, hairy idea about doing Book Rescue in the upcoming seasons, and it will include bringing more guests in a single season. Most likely, if Fiverr approves, we will probably be looking at 3 guests per season as opposed to just 1. So we'll be able to follow 3 different people throughout the course of a 6-episode season. it allows us a little bit more freedom to have some fun with some of these things. And if for some reason, like if there's a death in the family or life gets in the way for a one guest, at least we still have two other guests that we can still work with. Ava Fail says, I'm so excited for season 2 and Sarah. Yes. Ava was honestly very, very much responsible for putting together this book rescue. When you do a free book with price matching, does it matter what price you put the Kindle version before you request to be matched free? In theory, you really want to kind of show that there's value, but you don't want to be like overboard. So think to yourself, like, how much would I sell this book when it's being paid for, not just free? How much is the true value? Like, if you couldn't do the free option, what would you charge for it? Put it at that. You know, you don't want to get, like, say for instance, it's like a 5-page manuscript and it's fiction or something like that. You don't want to be charging $9.99 for that. That's just ridiculous. Not even Stephen King's going to charge that much, you know? So I would just say, yeah, just put the actual value. I used to subscribe to the belief of like, yeah, think about your base value and add a couple bucks. You know, don't overthink that stuff. Honestly, when someone sees that price mark, you know, the line going through the price, then it's typically because, you know, it's been knocked off. And to me, I see the price mark through it. I'm not like, oh, wow, look at that. It says $14.99 versus, oh, $9.99. I didn't save that much money. Ugh. People are just happy to save money. So, folks, we have streamed again for an hour straight. I want to thank you so much. In case you missed it, let me go ahead and summarize it for you again. KDP just rolled out some big news about the reports tab inside your dashboard. The beta report feature will officially be the default setting for the reports tab. That's in 5 days on May the 24th. The old dashboard will still be available, and they do not have a set date of when they will sunset that specific feature. I imagine they will communicate that with us. So at this point, what I would recommend is go into your KDP dashboard, select reports, and at the very top, you're going to see where it says check out the stuff that's in beta. That's going to be the stuff that's no longer in beta in about another 5 days. Folks, thank you so much. Big thank you out to all of the channel members over on the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast, as well as Self-Publishing with Dale channel on YouTube. If you're watching from Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or anywhere else, thank you so much. I appreciate it, folks. I promise, well, I probably shouldn't promise. I shouldn't be back on for any other earth-shattering news. In the meantime, I appreciate the support, folks, and take care of yourselves out there. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.